Hi, and welcome to the Who Are They podcast. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know that sometimes we reference different photos and videos, and those are all available on our Instagram at WH0_ARE_THEY_. So go there for updates about our show and reminders of when our episode drops.
From our Instagram, you can get to any of our other social medias or places to listen to the podcast. If you're listening, go ahead and rate and review, or if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to the pod. Who are they?
Ew.
Did that make you embarrassed?
It did, just a little bit.
Well, perfect. We'll touch more on that later. I'm Bailey.
And
Get it together.
I just thought that was so funny and a little bit secondhand embarrassment.
Good.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I just came up with it right there, then and there.
That was good, especially for the episode today. If they've already clicked on it, they already know that this is embarrassing moments.
Right.
So, unfortunately, we are not together.
You didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally skipped that part. I'm Abby.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
I was just saying, unfortunately, we're not together. We've now gone back to our regular lives.
Sad.
But we did have a blast. We got to go out for Valentine's Day and make it look special because we put chocolate inside of wine glasses with strawberries. That looked pretty fancy.
The chocolate. Yeah, we tried to like drizzle it all over the edge and everything.
Yeah. Anyways, catch up from this week. I flew back on Sunday night and then had Monday off. You had Monday off too, right? President's Day?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
And I think I came back and I was expecting like not to be too tired because I just thought like, oh, we didn't stay up super late. But I also forget that Nashville is an hour behind me. And so really I was up later than I thought. And so I came back so exhausted. My coworker was like making fun of me this week. At the end of the week, I was like, yeah, I was so tired on Tuesday. She was like, yeah, I could tell. And my kids were like, are you okay? And I was like, no.
You had a day of recovery too.
Yeah, I know. But like, I didn't recover. And honestly, I think I'm still trying to recover. Like, I am still exhausted and I'm getting headaches and I keep thinking it's because I'm dehydrated, but maybe it's just because I'm tired because I've been drinking a lot of water to try to like combat that, you know?
Oh, and you still got them?
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Actually, a headache while teaching is the worst thing in the world.
I wanted to look at my 6th-hour class today and I wanted to say, listen, you are driving me insane. You need to stop because I have a headache and you are literally going to hurt me. Okay?
Oh, I tell my
didn't.
kids when I have migraines.
Well, I didn't want to like use it to try to get them to be good in like a bad way, you know?
Yeah.
And I figured I'm going to need to use something like that more in the next few weeks. We've got 4 straight weeks before spring break. And so if I need to use something, I feel like I need to save it.
Yeah, you do.
So anyways, whatever. But I also feel like because when I get so tired, I get down in the emotional dumps, you know?
And were you just like sad and you say, why am I crying?
Yes. And I never really cried, but like I feel like that end of February to March period for anybody, because it's like the middle of winter, tends to just be harder and more annoying with the snow and cold and not seeing the sun so much. It's really just the seasonal depression comes out to get you.
But you're getting closer to spring.
Yeah, we have 19 full school days before spring break. Nobody's counting. No one's counting. But yeah, did get really sad this week. And then I've also not been reading as much. But lastly, I will say, our last episode, we talked about like spending time with God more often.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really do that as much as I would have liked to this week. But I was so tired. I don't know if this is like a good or bad thing, actually. I was so tired and down in the dumps on Saturday night that I decided I'm not setting my alarm and getting up for church. So I slept in and ended up like missing when church started. But I thought, great, I was able to just like go to a coffee shop and sit down with my Bible and my journal. And then also I started reading, and you're reading this too, but the Jenny Allen.
Oh, yeah. The Untangle Your Emotions one.
Yes, which was perfect for me that day.
Yes. It's a very good, I'm not very far into, but it seems to be a very good book.
Yeah, I've only read 1 or 2 chapters, but I like it. I really do. I think it's going to be helpful for me.
Me as well.
But that's been my week, really. Just like not a whole lot, just trying to get through it, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that was me last week as well. I had Monday off, which I rested very well.
Good for you. Good for you.
Well,
you recovered well.
I recovered well, and I had a great day, but the sun was shining, and it was probably in the 60s, so that's very helpful.
Shut up.
Yeah. When Abby
I was
visited,
there-
it was chilly,
Yeah, it was like 40.
and it was 60 the next day, so I went to Goodwill. I got a car wash, which I love getting car washes.
I thought you got a car wash while I was there.
Oh, you're right. I
definitely
didn't do a
did.
car wash on Monday. I did it
'Cause
on
your car
Sunday.
looked good.
Yes. Anyway, so I guess I didn't get a car wash that day. My memory runs together after about a week.
Mine too,
Anyways,
girl.
I did go to Goodwill, and I went to the Goodwill bins because we have those here in Nashville.
I've heard of those.
But I walked in. There were way too many people. I got so stressed. I walked right back out.
That sounds just like what would have happened to me.
Well, I was like, oh, I'm going to find cute stuff. And then I walk in, and the first bin is just books thrown into a bin. And I got so stressed. And I like walked up to another bin, and it was just like, it wasn't even like all clothes in one bin. It would be like suitcases and clothes and bedspreads. and
No,
it felt
thank
kind of yucky. And so I walked right out.
I just
And
don't
then I
think
went
could
to the
handle.
regular. You what?
I said I don't think I could handle. Like that would
No.
be also just like ick, gross. I don't want to touch a bunch of things thrown in a bin.
No, because you couldn't even see everything that was in the bin. So it was almost like you were going to move something. And it was going to be gross. So I walked out, and I went to the regular Goodwill right next door.
Okay.
Didn't buy anything. But then I went to the Percy Warner Steps in Nashville, which is my favorite place to go hiking. I walked up the steps. I feel like I took you there one time.
Definitely no.
Not last summer?
No.
Oh, anyways, it's my favorite place. And I went for a little hike, and there's this overlook that overlooks the city. And
That's
so I saw that. That was cute. I walked for a while. And then
By
I don't know,
yourself.
yeah, because it's like a park in the city.
Well, look at you, what an independent queen.
I love walking in the sunshine. And then I felt like a
I'm
I felt
laughing
like
at you. I'm laughing at me.
I felt like a local because when I was at the Overlook, these people started. I was like, they like started talking to me because I asked if they wanted a photo together because they were taking photos,
You're so nice.
and then they started asking me advice like on places to go, and I like
Oh.
could give them advice, and I was like, I'm a
Girl.
little local girl.
You've been there for a while now.
Almost 2 years,
Yeah, that's crazy, actually.
which is actually, when you think about it, a pretty long time.
I know.
But my kids were insane last week.
Really?
Like every time I'd be like, "Hey, we got to do this quietly," they would be talking as I was talking.
oh my gosh, that happened to me today. And
it happens to
literally-
me every day.
Okay, do you find yourself being like, excuse me, do you find do you find yourself being like, listen, we need to work quietly and let people focus, and then 2 seconds later they're louder than they were before?
Yes.
And
Or
today,
some-
I
Okay.
looked at them and I was like, so sorry.
You finished. You weren't
I,
done.
I know. I looked at them and I was like, I can't even remember exactly what I said, but basically I was like, why do you think when I ask you to be quiet, it means get louder? Be quiet.
Oh my gosh. My kids have been doing the same things. Like, I will be sitting there, or I'll stand up and I'm probably already standing. I'll say, guys, we have to work like level 0, no talking. It's so hard to focus, and you guys aren't getting your work done. And I have to stop myself while I'm telling them to do a level 0 to say, stop talking. Like, because they'll turn and say something to their friend in the middle of that. And it infuriates me.
I'm
but
telling
they
you,
were
it's-
so bad at it last week.
It's February.
It's February. They were pretty bad at it today, but they had moments where they were good. So, like, it gets me through the day. Last week was insane. And then it was Friday. And I don't believe in the whole full moon thing, you know?
I don't
But
either.
last week, if you had told me that it was caused by the full moon, I would have believed it. It was like a full snow moon. And I was like, I hope the moon thing is real. After that, I left work and I was like, oh my gosh. But then Saturday, Jacob and I drove down to Eagleville, which is like 40 minutes south of where I live.
Okay.
And we went to this cute coffee shop called Grindstone Cowboy.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like a rustic mix, like coffee shop, but they also sold breakfast, and it was really rustic, kind of manly-ish.
kind of manly.
But it was super cute at the same time. And that was super fun. We hung out there. He did his schoolwork. And I read a lot. I read 2 books.
What?
Not there, but I read 2 books last week.
Oh.
No. Not there. And there were it was this teeny tiny town, like 1 stoplight town, but they had a cute little shops around it. So we went to some antique shops.
Oh.
And it was a fun day. And we've been watching Love is Blind.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all caught up. And it's just chaos this season.
I only watched, like, I think the first season or something a really, really long time ago.
Too many love triangles this season. And a lot of drama. And yes. Anyways, we're excited for the rest of the season to come out on the 28th.
I think really the only, like, reality show I can do like that is The Bachelor.
Oh, I think Love is Blind is my favorite one.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I'll have to try it when I get Netflix sometime. Anyways, are you ready for the history?
I'm so ready for the history.
This one is from March 2nd, 2019. It's from our Alabama spring break trip.
Oh, I don't have this video.
I knew you wouldn't.
I'm excited to see it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the roll tide, we all want to be unified. In the roll tide, we all want to be unified. In the roll tide, grass is good. Wiki, wiki.
Check it out, 'cause we in Montgomery and listen up, and you'll get the summary.
Tell me what you want from me. Open.
Okay, I'm pausing it. I forgot this video existed at all. For those of you listening, it is our mission trip from 2019 to Alabama, and we had come up with this song, We All Want to Be Unified in the Roll Tide, because we're in Alabama.
But, like, at the
And-
end, there's a different, like, thing
It's
to it.
me! For some reason, okay, so we're all playing household instruments. Like, we're just, like, tapping pots and pans, and then it pans over to me at the end. Well, halfway through,
No.
I stopped it. And,
Yeah.
and I go, grass is green, wiki, wiki. And
That
I
sounds like it just doesn't sound right.
But why did I say that?
I think this is what I must have thought, because in my mind when I hear something about grass, I'm thinking weed.
Yeah, but that's not why we would have said it.
No, and my thought is we were coming from snowy Michigan and we must have been happy to see green grass in Alabama.
Probably. I remember now coming up with that line and thinking it was funny, but I don't remember the backstory to it.
No, and you want to know what? I don't know if anyone thought through the fact that that might sound like weed.
I think we
But-
did. I remember giggling about it.
Okay, because I was going to say, that's all I thought of when I re-listened to this. But then it's like cute. At the end, we all start like singing the same thing all together as a group again. And at the very, very end, two of
Should
our
I play
members
the very, very end?
at the very, very, very end, two of the
Okay.
members like yell and they're like, bedtime.
Oh. Do you know what we're saying?
I didn't hear enough of it to get it, and I should have written it down when I listened to it the first time, but no.
I don't remember what it is. That was a good time. I remember that. That was a fun trip.
We were just so goofy, and I loved it.
It was very goofy, very
And we
fun.
spent so much time on that song.
We did. And I remember I'm pretty sure we tried to record that video multiple times.
Oh, we for sure did. I have 3 recordings on my phone.
I'm going to bring back grass is green, wiki wiki. I can say that here. Grass is green, wiki wiki. Okay, if you are listening to this, you have to go to the Instagram right now and just go watch that. Otherwise, it is confusing.
So confusing.
So please go watch it.
Okay, so
Good
our
memes.
topic of today is embarrassing moments. We've got a
Dun
few of our
dun.
own stories that we want to share of the most embarrassing moments in our life. And then we have things that we want to share that shouldn't be embarrassing, but we feel like are embarrassing.
Right, like everyday moments that every time you have to do it, it's a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah. So, would you like to start with the story?
Yeah. So I'm going to take you back real quick to kindergarten. The year is probably 2005 or
Wow.
4. 2004. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Anyways, so I went to school in Indiana at a elementary school. Should I name drop it?
I don't know. Did you just see my face drop? I totally
Yeah.
forgot that you grew up in Indiana.
I lived in Indiana till I was 6. World
Shut up.
traveler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in Northwest Indiana, 30 minutes outside of Chicago.
Wow, girl.
Anyways.
City girl.
Should I drop the name of the school?
Whatever you want.
I went to a school called Solon Robinson in Indiana,
Okay.
and our mascot was, I think, the Hornets. So I already hated the school. Anyways, I had the meanest kindergarten teacher, and I won't say her name.
That's good of
Um,
you. That's good of you.
Yes. I mean, I had a fun kindergarten classroom. Like, we had a real kitchen in there.
Oh.
We'd make cookies and stuff. That was so fun. But my teacher was so mean.
I'm
And
sorry.
she made us learn to square dance.
What?
I don't know why, because, like, I remember in elementary school that was, like, a gym class standard.
Square dancing?
In, like, the 4th grade, we had to learn to square dance. It was some sort of standard we had to
What
do.
the
But this was
heck?
kindergarten, and I don't know if we had, like, it wasn't gym class. We were
No.
square dancing in the classroom, and she was teaching us how to do it. And I don't know if this was for some sort of production or she just wanted to teach kindergartners how to square dance on her own, too. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. But I remember we were square dancing, and we had just finished the dance, and I raised my hand because I had to go to the bathroom, and she looks at me and she goes, "Put your hand down." And I didn't say anything. She wasn't even like, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?"
Yeah.
So she had these chairs lined up at the front of the classroom that we were like sitting in between square dancing. So we were
Uh-huh.
all sitting side by side, and I sat in this chair, and I had to pee so bad that as soon as I sat down, I just peed all over this chair. And then this little boy walks up to me and goes, "Excuse me, you're sitting in my chair."
No. And you just peed in his chair.
And I get up, and I know what's about to happen. I get up, I like walk a foot away, and he goes, "Why is my chair all wet?"
Did he sit in it? Did he sit in your pee?
No, he just looked at it and went, "Why is my chair all wet?"
Oh.
And I just broke down and I sobbed. And it was so embarrassing. Well, one, I
That's-
remember the details to this day.
So sad. Yeah, the fact that you remember that at the age of what, 5 is wrong.
It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know you had some strong emotional
Well,
attachment.
you
to
know
that
how I
one.
know it was a really strong like emotional attachment? So it was half day kindergarten.
Oh, dude.
And the thing is, my mom brought me clothes to change into instead of just taking me home.
At half day kindergarten?
At half day kindergarten, and I remember the outfit she brought me. She brought me overalls that had a hole in the knee, so she had patched it with a bow patch. Like, that is the exact outfit my mom brought me to wear in kindergarten. And that was just so, and I was sitting right next to the little boy that I liked in kindergarten.
Oh.
Yeah, so if Kenneth Decker from Indiana listens to our podcast, do you remember that? Do you remember when I peed in my chair?
The fact that you can't see me right now, guys, but I literally could not breathe for the last 30 seconds after. Bailey, after you name drop that guy, the fact that the first and last name of the
I haven't seen him in
guy
20
from
years.
that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I just like, does anyone, like, does the kid that, I don't remember the kid that saw the pee's name, but does he remember that?
Who knows? I don't know. It probably wasn't as a strong emotional thing for him.
That's true. If he had sat in the pee, maybe, but he didn't. Anyways, I remember there's a few things from kindergarten I remember vividly, and I could tell you every detail of that one.
Wow. Well, let me give you one of mine that I can remember every detail from.
Okay.
In college, I don't have a lot of embarrassing moments, I feel like. So these are more recent ones. In college, when we were living in the ministry house, I think it was the first semester I was there. There were, 10 of us in the house?
Yeah.
She already knows the story I'm going to tell.
Well, I was there when it happened.
Were you in the room?
I was not in the room, but I was
In the
the
house.
second group of people you told.
Okay. So, anyways, I had come home. I was looking for our roommate, Liz. And I was looking around, going around, couldn't find her. And so I look into the living room, and one of our roommates, Amber, is sitting on the couch doing homework or on her computer working on something. And then there was somebody taking a nap or laying on the couch. And at this point in the house, it was so common for people to just take naps laying on that couch. I know I did. Did you?
It was a good nap couch. Comfiest.
Yeah. And Liz would frequently take naps on this couch. Well, this person
And it was later in the day.
Yeah, it was like close to dinner time.
So usually not a lot of people were in our house at this time.
It might have been after dinner, honestly.
I think it was pretty late.
Anyways, I remember not having to go back downstairs after this encounter. So, this person was laying on our couch, covered head to toe in a blanket. But in my mind, I think, oh my word, this is Liz. I'm going to go. She must be napping. I'm going to go lay on top of her and wake her up. And I still get embarrassment from this. So I walk into the living room and I look at Amber and I go, like I mouth to her, I go, who is that? Because I'm not wanting to wake up Liz and I'm not wanting to like just go lay on top of this person.
Right.
She mouths to me the name of this person laying on the couch. And somehow out of the name that she gave me, I thought she said Liz. Now I will say that this person's name does have an L in it. So it's like not too far off, but definitely nowhere
If you
near
would
Liz.
mouth it silently, they could look similar.
Possibly. But to me, it was the same thing. So I go over there and I lay directly on top of this person on our couch, okay? Like I am on him. And then I'm like, wow, she is really out. Like she's not moving. Like she must really be in a deep, deep sleep. And then all of a sudden I like start to move because I'm like, she's really not into the cuddling mood. Like, what the crap is going on here? And as soon as I start to move, this very, very deep voice comes in my ear and says, it's okay, you don't have to go, or something like that. It was either like, it's okay, you don't have to go, or like, you don't have to move. And all I know is that all of a sudden I am on top of a man laying on my couch.
Oh my gosh.
And I hightailed it out of that room as fast as possible. Come to find out, it's our roommate's boyfriend. And he was over hiding from her because she was going to come home soon. And he thought, oh, what a brilliant idea for me to lay on the couch, completely cover my body so no one knows who it is. And then I was absolutely mortified, and I hid upstairs. All the girls came, and Amber came and was like, what the heck were you doing? And I was like, I thought it was Liz. And she's like, I told you it wasn't Liz. But then we were at church a week later, and he like came and tried to apologize to me. And I can't remember if he tried to hug me or like touch my shoulder or like something, but I was like, please don't touch me. I have already gotten enough.
Like, I do not want to. Yeah, I didn't. You probably didn't even want him to know it was you.
No, I really
He
didn't.
thought it was his girlfriend.
Yes. Oh, I should have said that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
should have
yeah.
said that.
He thought it was his girlfriend.
He really did. Because we're about the same build and the same like height.
Mm-hmm.
So if you couldn't see us, maybe
You'd be
you would've
similar.
thought we were the same. I don't know. But
And you didn't really say anything.
no, I said absolutely nothing.
So were you hoping he didn't even know?
Yeah, but then I knew he was going to, and he was gonna like someone was gonna find out. And
Well,
I
his
did-
girlfriend would have found out.
Well, I told her because I felt kind
Oh.
of bad. And
Yeah.
honestly, she thought it was the funniest thing in the whole world. So it was fine. But still, I think about that moment, and deep down in my gut, it hurts me.
That is the worst. That is awful.
It's like I unknowingly just laid on top of a man. And it was weird. Only because he told me not to move.
Yeah. Also, like in your own home, you're not necessarily expecting that.
No. Not at all.
But I think he
Anyways.
learned a lesson not to do that again.
he definitely did. And I
So
also
that's
learned
good,
a
too.
lesson not to lay on the couch when I didn't know who was there.
Yeah. If you couldn't see someone's face, don't do it.
do it.
Don't do it.
Okay, give me yours.
All right, I'll give you a college one. So this would have been probably my sophomore year of college. It was my first year at CMU, and I was taking a history class. And
I'm just racking my brain right now to figure out if I can figure out this.
and we would go. It was like a lecture hall history class, and then we would have like small study times with a TA.
Oh, I took the same class. I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like my TA. Anyways, that's besides the point. So I had gotten a really bad, like I got a C on my 2 papers in a row. And that's like not something that I get on paper. So I was going to go to his office hours and talk to him about it. And I'm sitting outside his office hours, like ready to go, ready to talk to him about it. Be like, how can I get a better grade next time? Like, why did I get this grade? Because I followed the prompt, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, as soon as I get into the room and I start to talk about it, I start sobbing. So this man at the time was probably like, he's less than 30.
Okay,
He's
I was
probably
just
4 or
gonna
5
ask
years
you how
older
old.
than me. He's not that old. 4 or 5 years older than me. He's a smart guy, maybe a little older, less than 30. He's in like the doctorate program for history. And he's a TA. And I start sobbing when I ask him about this paper. And I'm like, I just don't understand why. And I'm trying to have a serious conversation. And I prepared a serious conversation. But for some reason, when I
Just
get
a
into
confrontation.
it's confrontation. And it's not like I was even nervous. Sometimes just when I get in these situations, my body just cries.
Yep.
And I'm trying to like say to this man, I'm not upset with you. I'm not like super stressed. My body's just crying and I can't stop it. And I had to explain this to a man that I don't think grew up with any women in his life because he did not know what to do.
He was probably
And-
so uncomfortable.
Yeah. And about like we were talking for like 10 minutes. He's explaining to me about some dumb bell curve where he can only give so many A's, B's, and C's.
Please shut up and tell me that's fake.
No. And then he was like, actually, you did answer all the prompts. I graded it wrong. And then he goes, but I can't change your grade because I've already given out this amount of A's, B's, and what. And I was confused. Anyways,
That's
we
the
were having this
dumbest thing I've
conversation.
ever heard in my life.
I was trying to be super like serious so I could say that's dumb, but instead I'm sobbing. And about halfway through our conversation, I don't know, we're probably talking for like 10 minutes. He pulls out this like pocket watch and starts showing it to me like I'm a child. He's like trying to distract me because I'm still sobbing in his office hours. And he was like, "Here, look at this watch. It's cool. My grandpa gave it to me." And
What did he
Just
think
be-
that was going to do?
I don't know. But eventually, like, okay, so this is just such an embarrassing moment because I'm just sobbing to this man in his office. It's like a closet-sized office. And so we're sitting like a foot away from each other, and I'm just sobbing. Excuse me. And then he tries to get me to stop crying by showing me a toy like I'm a child. And then this was like maybe a quarter of the way into the class, so I had to continue to go to this class for the rest of the semester knowing I had sobbed in front of this man. But I did get a A on every paper after that.
I just, I'm still stuck on the whole bell curve thing. Like, are you serious? That
Yeah,
you're
it
not
says
just gonna-
super stupid. He like drew me a picture too and
You're
was
like,
like, I can
"Sir."
only give, and I'm like, this is not how you grade on a curve. That's not grading on a curve. I don't know what you're doing. He's like,
Like-
yeah, I can only give out so many A's, B's, and C's. And I was like, so
But-
I just drew the short, like, you graded mine last, so I have to get a C? Like,
Yeah,
what's
that's
going on
stupid.
here? Anyways.
But also the fact that you went to have a nice conversation with him and you just ended
and
up
I
sobbing.
prepared myself, okay?
I know.
was ready
Now
to
that
go.
you've talked about the story, I remember like it happening, or like I remember the time period. And I remember you being like so upset, but you were like ready for this conversation. And then you
Mhm.
came home and you were like, yeah, it did not go well.
And then I had to walk around campus, like, visibly, like, I had cried. And the cry look does not come off of my face for a while. Like my eyelids swell up,
Yeah.
everything's red, and everybody can tell I'm crying.
I'm sorry about that.
So, but I do give it as advice to people. Like, it was embarrassing for the time that it was, but my grade did get better. He
So you're
gave me
telling
no
people-
advice about papers. No advice about papers. I continued writing them the exact same way. But I got an A on everyone after that.
to go cry to their professors.
I'm not going to say it's going to hurt. It might hurt your pride
Yeah,
a lot.
True.
But I think overall it's great.
Well, you ready to hear one that definitely hurt my pride?
Yeah, I do.
You know this one too. The only stories I have, you already know. Okay. Some of our listeners may have already heard this one, but it's too good not to share again. So, I had gone to visit Bailey last year in the summer, was in Nashville, and then headed home. Airports give me anxiety, and if you heard us talking a week or two ago, you listened to our episode, and I said I didn't have anxiety going to visit Bailey just a couple weeks ago, which is huge for me because normally airports freak me out, and I feel like I'm not going to get where I need to be, even though the airport's designed for that. Whatever. So, I go into the Nashville airport and I'm headed home. I get through security. I'm standing there and I'm like giving myself a pep talk in my mind of like, okay, you can do this. You've got it. You got through security. No big deal. You are like an independent woman. Good job. I'm putting my shoes back on. Okay.
Oh, we got to bring that back up later.
What?
Putting shoes on in the airport.
Okay. So then I'm standing in front of the TV, like that tells you where all the planes are and everything, because I realized that my boarding pass or whatever I had up on my phone didn't tell me where to go.
Okay.
So I'm looking. I look like 3 or 4 times because anxious me is like, you need to double, triple, quadruple check. All of a sudden, this man comes up And he walks up, like, right, I don't know, a few feet in front of me to the left. And I see out of the corner of my eye, and then I, like, look back at the TV, and then I double take, because I'm like, I recognize this man. Like, I know who he is, but I know I don't know him, you know?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I look over, and it's Chris Renzema. And if
Oh
you
my
don't,
goodness.
if you're listening and you don't know who that is, he's a Christian artist, that, like, music artist, but lives in Nashville, grew up in Michigan, so he was at the airport at the same time as me. Anyways, I look over, and I'll just say what happened. Okay, I look over, and my brain, wiped, gone, nothing. Anxiety through the roof. I go, I knew I couldn't say nothing, you know? So I go, hi, is your name Chris? And to look at someone, like, you already know their name. This is a whole other argument that, like, I feel like it's so impersonal and, like, weird, the fact that I know people's names, you know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
don't want to be like, I didn't want to be like, oh, hi, Chris. You know, like, that
Yeah,
felt
I
weirder.
feel like it's better that you asked.
But, like, is it? Anyway.
Yes, it's way better. Well, maybe not.
I think it's so much weirder. So then we're staying there. At this point, we've started walking down the hallway together. Okay. We're walking down the airport
Uh-oh.
hallway. Just like, he said yes. I then say absolutely nothing about his music, even though I know I'm going to his concert in November. And I'm like, I love his music. That's all I'd been listening to that whole summer. No. Instead, my mind goes to the fact that one of our friends in college had told me that he'd played euchre with Chris before, and he'd also gone out after one of Chris's concerts with, like, Chris and a group of people. And how also our friend in college, his sister, this is so far out there, his sister was roommates with Chris Renzema's cousin at college. Okay? So these are the only things that's come into my mind at this point. As we're walking down this hallway, I then go, hey, so is there any chance you know, and I throw our friend's name, okay, first and last name, because I'm like, in my mind, Chris is going to be like, yes, absolutely, I know him.
Oh, no.
He has the decency to, like, think about it for a minute, and then he just goes, no. And at that point, I was lost. And the problem was, I no longer knew what to do. And so
No.
out of my mouth tumbles everything I just told you
Oh.
about how, I'm not kidding you, I'm literally not kidding, about how, oh my word, well, actually, I don't think everything. I think I definitely told him that his sister roomed with his cousin in college, or, like, but I made myself sound like the creepiest whack job on the planet. Like, literally so weird. Like, never say anything about his music. Never say anything about the fact that I, like, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh,
Right.
yeah,
You
my
knew
friends-
his name, and then you knew people that, like, said they hung out with him.
Yeah. And and then we, like, both get to this, like, the hallway, like, opens up into this big area where there's, like, some restaurants and a bunch of stuff around the airport. And he goes to walk. Oh no. Then we walked in silence for a few seconds before we got there. And then finally I just go, well, it was nice to meet you.
Did you even say your name to him?
No. And then, but then he goes, oh, what was your name? And he did ask me for my name. He's a very,
Oh.
very nice person.
Oh, good.
He's a very nice person. Okay. And then he just walks off the other direction. And I could tell he still had to go the same way I did. And then I just kept walking. 4 minutes later, I'm down at my gate. Lo and behold, guess who walks up? Chris Renzema. And And we make direct eye contact. And it's just like, I just kind of smiled because there was nothing else I could do. And then he just kind of smiled at me like, oh, probably thinking, oh, great, this creepy girl is
We're
here.
going to the same spot.
Yeah, exactly. And then we sat just waiting for this plane for like 45 minutes, like probably, I don't know, 20 feet from each other the whole time. Then maybe further, I don't know, but I could definitely see him. And then we get on the same plane, we go home. That's it.
Mm.
Now, shout out to Chris Renzema, because I will say, nicest man out there. For as weird as I was, so friendly, okay? But
Mhm.
after that moment, I just thought, wow. Like, not that I ever had chances with this man, but like if that was my one chance,
You blew it.
I blew it.
You blew it, buddy.
Like, hardcore. Anyways, I just want to, like, PSA, if that's the right thing to say here, like, I just need to apologize. You know what I mean? Like, that's creepy.
yeah,
and
you
weird.
really do need to apologize.
And so, Chris Renzema, I am so sorry.
This is her formal apology.
This is my formal apology for being the creepy stalker in the Nashville airport. And I didn't mean to be. I just don't have brain cells when I'm anxious. And if I could go back and redo it again, I would tell you that I loved your music. And then, oh, by the way, I went to his concert in November with a handful of our college friends. I think I told you about that.
Yeah.
And the people we were with were like, Abby, you need to make a sign and tell him that you're sorry and you're the girl in the Nashville airport and blah, blah, blah. They were like,
I'm sorry I was the girl from the Nashville airport.
And
You
then-
know what, though? Bringing up that story, he would remember it.
Who knows, though?
I bet he remembers it. It was like a year ago, and this girl is like, it's not like, oh, I love your music. Like, you guys had an awkward walk down
Oh,
the
it
airport
was-
where you were telling him about people that knew him.
It was so bad. I feel so horrible. And honestly, I feel so embarrassed. Like, I hate even talking about it. And then this past time when I was flying back, I like literally, I'm going through like security. And I get through security. And this time I had to go a different direction. But I looked over to my right and I just looked over and I paused and I just thought, let's just give a moment of silence for that.
For that area.
For me, about 8 months
Yeah.
ago, that couldn't handle being in an airport and seeing somebody they knew.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know him. You knew who he was.
Right. And I don't know if ever in my life I'll actually try to talk to someone that I know who they are again. I don't know if I'll be
Never.
able to handle it.
Well, I've seen multiple famous people in Nashville, and I have never introduced myself to them.
I feel like it's almost like a breach of like their privacy. Sometimes.
Yes. I feel like the airport seems like a fine place, but
Well,
every
okay,
time
the man
I've
is
seen
standing
them,
right next to me. I
no,
couldn't
that's
not.
totally fine. In the airport, totally fine. The places I've seen people, they're like hanging out with their families or
Yeah,
at the park,
yeah.
and that feels weird.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
No, but I did have a kind of okay. So Thomas Rhett's wife, Lauren Akins.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the nature center in Nashville, and I had taken the boys I nannied there to the
Yeah.
park, and we were playing there. And there were 3 boys. They're a little rowdy, hitting with sticks. But up walk her little girls, and they want to play on this wooden house that my boys are playing on and whacking sticks on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
boys, you got to get down. And they're whacking sticks, and one of them whacks the stick, and it almost hits the little girl right in the eye.
No.
And I was so embarrassed. I was like, do you know whose kids these are? You cannot do that.
You're like, you gotta stop now.
You gotta stop, buddy. You gotta stop. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Do you have any other embarrassing story before we jump into things we think are embarrassing?
Yeah, I do. I have one from middle school.
Okay, go.
I've got them from everywhere. So in middle school, I went on a mission trip, and we went to Pennsylvania. And on our way back, or on our fun day, we were going to a water park.
Mm-hmm.
So great time, have fun at this water park. As we're changing back into our street clothes to get back in the car and go to this very nice restaurant, I realized I didn't have a bra.
No.
And you know what? 7th grade, probably didn't need one, but I needed one. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, I had no idea what to do. So do you remember those like things that girls used to wear on their hips that looked like fake camis?
No, because I never had one. I just wore
Well, this
camis
girl-
and pulled them down really long.
I did too, but this girl had one of these bands and it goes around your hip and it looks like a cami that you pulled down.
Oh.
Instead of having to wear a whole cami, it was like a band.
So it's like
So
a
she
bandeau,
gives-
but you put it around your hips.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
she gives this band to me, not a bra, and I tie the back of it. I put it around my chest, and I tie the back of it with a hair tie. So I have like a little ponytail that's got to be sticking on my back. You know what I mean? Because
For
it's
sure. For sure.
tied, and I wore that as a bra the entire way home. And we went to this really nice restaurant, and I had to sit there with that. And I just
Stop.
remember that being the most embarrassing thing that could have ever happened to a 7th grade girl. Yeah, that ponytail had to be sticking on my back from where I tied that thing to fit around me.
Oh, for sure. Can you tell I'm
But-
so distracted right now?
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat a piece of chocolate.
Girl, I can hear it.
I know. I just really want this piece of chocolate. I'm not even a chocolate girl. But it's Toblerone.
Nice.
Okay, while I eat this piece of chocolate, why don't you explain the things we think are embarrassing, like little segment here, and then start with yours?
Okay. Our next segment is things that we think, like we feel embarrassing, that are embarrassing, but they should not be. It's like, for example, like if you drop a piece of trash on the ground and the wind starts to blow it away and then you have to chase after it.
That's actually really embarrassing.
Like, you're picking up trash. It's okay. Nobody else probably thinks it's embarrassing, but it's the most embarrassing to you. Another one I had, since you're still chewing your chocolate, another one I had is when you get a book and the cover is
Oh.
embarrassing.
Oh, yes.
So there's some books where the content of the book is so good, but for some reason the cover of it looks like a mother's romance novel.
Or like when you're reading a children's book and you don't really want to take that out in public, you know?
Right. And you go into a coffee shop and you're like trying to read your book, but also trying to like fold it so nobody can see the cover, or you keep it flat on the table so nobody can see the cover.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be embarrassing, but that
But
is
it
so
is.
embarrassing.
I know. One of
All
mine,
right.
should I do two because you did two?
Sure.
Okay. One of my first ones is seeing someone I know in the grocery store.
Oh, worst. What do you say to someone in a grocery store?
Exactly. And then no
Like,
matter
oh, more
what-
eggs, I see.
Yeah. And then I'm like, please don't look in my cart.
No, because maybe this is my healthy week, but this could be my snack cart.
Yeah. And like, what are you gonna do if you see my Uncrustables in there? You know?
Or like, I always fear I'm going to see like a student in the grocery store
Yeah.
and there's something like, I don't even buy embarrassing things, but even like shampoo. They don't even
Yeah.
know what kind of shampoo I use.
I know. It's
You
just
got razors in your you got razors in your cart?
Mm,
Embarrassing.
mm.
When you know what else is embarrassing at the grocery store? When you need to go in and the only thing you need to buy is like a feminine product
Yeah.
and you
It
have to
really
carry that big package around the store.
But not even if that's the only thing. Because I've made the mistake of going to get the feminine products before I go buy anything else. And then you got to carry that around
Oh.
with you.
And everybody knows. They know what time of the month it is.
I know.
And they don't need to know.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, give me another one.
Okay, this one's like not, I don't know why, but I think this is more because I used to drink pop all the time. And I love my
And
Dr.
pop,
Pepper.
for those of our southern listeners,
Shut up.
is
Shut up.
soda.
I hate you.
I get corrected every day, okay?
So anyways, I had written this one down a long time ago, but having McDonald's in public, or like specifically like a fast food, like a pop or like a soda, excuse me. For some reason, like taking that somewhere is like when you're getting together with people or something and maybe they're not going to have food. Like just I feel
Oh.
like it's embarrassing.
Especially like the size large Coke.
Yeah.
You're bringing that in and they're like, oh, you are thirsty today, aren't
yeah,
you?
exactly. Like I remember
And it's like, you
going-
know what? You had one of these probably 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Especially when they were $1. But they've gone up in price, so inflation
know.
is killing that embarrassment.
And
maybe.
I've given up my
Oh, good.
yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it's
Giving up your pop.
yeah.
Also, I have when you have to correct someone on how to spell your name.
Oh, dude, I don't even do it anymore.
I don't usually either unless it's like an important document.
Same.
But
I do.
or if someone's like, "Did I spell it right?" I go, "Don't even ask me, okay?
well, what really
Just
gets,
put the Y on the end."
I know. What really gets me is when my coworkers spell it wrong, and it's like it could take you 2 seconds to type my name into your email, and then get it to pop up correctly.
Right. Or like when
okay.
someone can repeatedly text you with the wrong spelling and you're too far in to correct them.
You just can't do it.
So you live with the fact that your name is spelled wrong and it's wrong in their phone. But my last name's also, I think both of our last names, is so hard to spell.
It is.
And I had a substitute teacher in high school that pronounced my last name Ganja.
Oh,
And that was so embarrassing.
that sounds really weird.
And I had to correct him.
Yikes.
It was yikes.
Okay, you want to know what? This isn't one of my embarrassing things, but I think it's a honorable mention here. It's one of my top fears in life.
Okay.
I've definitely shared this multiple times. I don't know why or when it became a real fear for me. But it's if you're like writing a paper or writing something important or like writing an email, it would be if I accidentally if I was trying to spell the word public, but if I accidentally
This is your fear?
yeah, but if you accidentally leave off the L, it becomes the word pubic. And how embarrassing would that be to send someone in an email or like when you're trying to announce to like the general public pubic, you know? That's
send
a fear
that
of
all
mine.
staff.
So every time I write the word public, I go very slow.
You go very. How often do you write that word?
Not barely ever, but
Oh, okay. But it's a fear. It's in the back of your mind.
no, it's a big fear. It's in the very forefront of my mind.
Oh. You know what else is embarrassing?
What?
When you're at the pool and you have your swimsuit on under your clothes.
And you have to take your clothes off.
And you
but
have
it
to
looks
take
like
your
you're getting
clothes off.
naked.
But everybody does it. I hate that. Or like the part where you're taking your pants off is the worst. And you're like, I promise I got a swimsuit on under this. Like, of course you do. It's the pool.
Why am I crying? It's like this stuff isn't that funny, but it's so relatable. Okay. What about if you're in someone else's car and you're like a passenger or like you're in the back seat, there's a bunch of people riding. It's so embarrassing to be like, I'm hot, I'm cold. Can you please change the temperature?
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
But like I'm specifically also thinking like if you're like with somebody like excuse me, that chocolate must have made me burp. If you're like with someone's family or like with people you don't know super well, like if I was with you, no big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on a mission trip with 12 people and then everyone's going to have a different opinion, or like when you're a kid, you're in someone else's family's car, you're like, Mr. So-and-so, can you please change the... You're not like, no.
Something else embarrassing about being in a car is when you want to show someone a song you like.
Oh.
And sitting there while you're both just listening, and you're like, listen to the lyrics.
That's just so awkward. It's like,
and you hope
you
they
hate
like it.
do you like
And it's
it?
like, if you're the other person being shown the song, it's also awkward.
It's almost more awkward.
And you both, like, it could be a great song, and you got to be like, it's so good.
Okay.
It's all right.
What about, how do you feel about anyone finding out about your cavities? Is that a big deal for you?
I don't have a single cavity.
Okay.
Perfect teeth.
Well, you're not relatable.
My mom claims it's because she didn't give me juice as a child.
Really?
But I think, but my grandpa doesn't have any cavities either.
Oh. Maybe it's genetic.
Strong teeth.
Anyways, I find it very embarrassing if anyone finds out I had a cat.
That would be embarrassing.
I know. I didn't have one last time I went, though. I don't remember.
Oh, good.
I don't even know how many I have. I have no idea.
I don't remember the last time I went to the dentist.
Oh, that's not good. You should go.
Well, it's probably been like 2 years since I moved.
Okay, can I do another one?
Yes.
Another one, I think, is walking across the street. Now, I mean like walking, like, let me explain.
I get it.
I mean like walking across a crosswalk when there's a bunch of cars and you just know people are watching you.
Oh, and you feel like you need to hurry up.
Yeah, but then it's like, do you jog?
Yes. And have you ever been in heels trying to do that?
No. 'Cause
And
I
you're
never
like, I
went to a
can't go any
imagine.
faster. This is it. If they hit me, they hit me.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Another thing that's embarrassing is when you have to walk, you need to get around someone and you have to say, "Excuse me,"
Yeah.
and they don't hear you the first time.
Yeah.
And you have to say it a little louder and you're like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, that's actually
That's
the worst.
embarrassing.
What about talking on the phone in front of people?
Hate it.
Can't do it.
That's embarrassing.
I will personally walk out and leave.
You know what else is embarrassing?
What?
Running outside.
So embarrassing.
Because you feel like you're going fast and then you look at anyone running outside and they're going slow. And I
Yeah.
know people think the same thing about me. And I've seen pictures of myself running. Embarrassing.
I asked some people, and one of the things they said is running next to someone on a treadmill is embarrassing.
Oh, that is embarrassing. Writing on as a teacher, turning your back to write on the board.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. They don't need to. Yeah. What if I'm looking weird back there?
I know. Another thing, blowing your nose,
Oh, embarrassing.
just in general. So embarrassing. I have
So
students that go out in the hallway to do it because it's so embarrassing.
Yes. So is sneezing.
Yeah.
And it was so embarrassing for me. I learned to sneeze silently because I
Stop.
always sneeze seven times in a
times.
row. It's
I know.
excessive, okay? And so I had to learn how to sneeze silently in class, so I wouldn't be sitting in class going achoo, achoo, and they're like kind of far apart. Like I have to do a whole breath in between. It's annoying, but every time it's 7 times in a row. It's biblical.
That's funny. It's biblical? Is that what you just said?
There's some part I feel like where someone sneezes 7 times.
I think 7 is just like a number, dude, that's in the Bible. I don't think someone
It's-
sneezes 7 times.
It's biblical.
Okay. I'm seeing if I have any other ones. Okay, this one's kind of funny.
Okay.
I was given this one. Okay, but I found it relatable.
Okay.
Both of these are about the bathroom,
Oh yeah.
but the first one is someone watching you walk out of the bathroom that knows how
yeah.
long you've been in there.
Yes. Because sometimes you're in there for a minute.
But like, what if you didn't actually like then they think you pooped.
Yeah, even if you were doing something else,
Right.
they're gonna think
Like
that.
they just think that's what happened. Second thing, when you go into the bathroom that someone else just pooped in,
Yeah.
but then now you seem like the culprit.
Oh, that's a bad one. Or when you're in a public bathroom and you run out of toilet paper in your stall and you have to ask
Oh.
the stranger next to you to hand you some toilet
That's
paper.
the worst.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what else is embarrassing?
What?
I don't know how many times I've said that phrase to you. As a short person, I have 2.
Okay.
When your feet don't touch the ground when you're in a chair. And when you pull up to like a drive-through or any sort of touch screen
Mm-hmm.
that you're supposed to like just stick your hand out of the window and touch, but I have to like put half my body outside the window,
And you
like
have to
unbuckle,
unbuckle, yeah.
stretch half my body out the window to be able to touch the screen.
Me
and sit
too.
back down like I wasn't fully an adult doing that.
Yeah,
That's embarrassing.
I agree. I don't think I have anything else.
When I was thinking about this. Do you ever walk outside your mailbox in your pajamas?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are judging you. I live on a busy road too.
Well, I think now is the moment in time where we call out our listeners because, I mean, not a huge deal, right? I understand that we don't have a huge following, but
No.
I'm never asking for a huge following. You know, I'm
No.
actually totally chill that we don't have a huge following. But you want to know what I do want?
An interactive audience.
A dedicated audience.
Yes.
An interactive audience. I know it's going to take them a while to get there. We haven't been doing this for too long. But I will say, I would appreciate an audience that shows that they want to be here.
So we're calling you out.
We are. I also want to say I understand being a passive listener because that's all I am on the internet.
Right.
But every once in a while, you just got to give a little. A little.
Yeah.
And
The thing is, when it's in a story, an Instagram story, we know you
That's-
saw it.
Yeah.
You don't have to like our post, but we know you saw this.
Well, and now here's our PSA because I will say I've never used that word as much as I have today. But I will say that what was I going to say?
Girl, I don't know.
Oh, this is it. Here's what I want to say is we won't mention your name. Okay, in the
No.
future. We're going to mention the two people today because I feel like they deserve it.
Because shout out.
Um,
Awesome.
we won't ever mention your name unless you tell us to do it.
Right. If
Okay.
you say anonymous, you want to be anonymous? Girl, boy, you're
We'll-
staying anonymous.
We'll assume people want to be anonymous. Let's just
Okay.
say that.
Perfect.
But I want to say shout out Michaela Nert. What
Mm.
a fan, what a listener, what a friend.
She's interacting with us.
She's a real one. We put on our Instagram, we said, what is something that you think is embarrassing, but it shouldn't be? And we asked people to respond. We left like a little thing for people to put in there, right? Well, she got in there and said, carrying a lunchbox down the hall.
Ugh, so embarrassing.
And I think that's a really good one.
That's so great. Like, as a grown woman and packing your lunch and just carrying your lunchbox, embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. And like, I have to do it almost every day at work.
Yeah. But what's more embarrassing, carrying all your Tupperware in your hands or
I-
carrying your lunchbox?
I do both.
I also do both. So which is worse?
I don't know.
And also, I think Tupperware is less embarrassing because I'll
Really?
bring a lunchbox and then I eat across the hall in my coworker's room, and I will take my stuff out of my lunchbox and carry my Tupperware across the hall.
Oh, I was going to say Tupperware, everyone can see what you bring, like as you're walking down the hall.
Oh, it's fine. It's like a sandwich. That's not embarrassing.
Sometimes mine is my Uncrustable.
Okay, Uncrustables.
Or like
A
if
little
I-
embarrassing.
sometimes I don't even bring like a full lunch. I just bring like a bunch of snacks. And
That's
then I'm
fine.
like, I look like a child.
It's okay.
Anyways, shout out
we
Michaela.
Go, Michaela. Thank you for interacting. The other person we can call out because it's my little sister. And who knows if she actually listens to this, but she follows our page. She interacted. She thought she was being funny when she responded to this. And she wrote, being Bailey's sister. It's embarrassing, but it shouldn't be.
I bet you are an embarrassing sister, though.
Well, the thing is, I moved out of the house when she was in like the 4th grade.
Yeah.
So I'm a cool sister.
I'm a cool
Anyways.
sister. You think that. You think that.
Anyway, she thought she was being so funny with being my sister is embarrassing. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, every time we hang out, I go take her to get coffee.
Well,
That's pretty cool.
but maybe you
I
do
can
something
drive.
that gives her secondhand embarrassment.
Maybe. But, she at least responded. And we
That's
called her
true.
out. And she's probably embarrassed that we called her out. But
But I don't think she should be. I think she should be honored.
I think so too.
Anyways.
As a 16-year-old girl, I would be honored.
In the future, Tell us what you think. Give us
Yeah.
your feedback.
We'll
Send
shout you
us-
out if you wanna.
What did you just say?
I said we'll shout you out if you want to be.
Oh, yeah. We'll do our best to ask some questions.
Yeah, we'll try to. I think for every episode now, we should try to do that.
Oh, okay.
Just throw in a few of the best ones.
If you have an idea of something you want us to talk about, send us a message.
DM us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'll try to put up more prompts on the Instagram that you can try to respond to, and we'll see if you do better next time.
We'll give you a little practice time.
Yes, this one, we only got 2 responses. Now, we don't have a lot of followers, but do better.
We love you all.
We do love you. Oh,
Um,
maybe.
Did you say maybe?
Yeah, I don't use those words lightly.
True. Okay, maybe. We're going to learn to love you over time.
I don't know all of you, but the Lord does say we should love everyone. So in that sense, I do love you all.
Good message. Good message.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you enjoyed our embarrassing stories and had as much fun as we did. I feel like I was giggling that whole time.
Yeah, it was a good time. We're recording this at a different time than normal.
We are. It's after we worked a whole day, which is like insane that we're having fun right now.
But okay, but that's the time of the day where I need to talk to an adult.
Me too.
So I think this is a better time for us.
Maybe we've really hit the jackpot.
I think so.
Well, join us next week to find out if we decided to record after work again and if we're still silly goofy.
Or if we're down.
Well, have a wonderful Tuesday, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Don't forget to like, rate, review, and subscribe. Toodaloo.